Hey guys, this is Joe with that hashtag show. I am here with
DJ from that hashtag show.
and we are bringing you something new. You might know me from Morphin Mondays. You might know DJ from the Power Ranger fan pages, the buyers.
I'm around. Traders, buyers, and sellers. Yeah, I'm here.
He has some power. He has some clout here.
I'm not like Joe, Mr. Voice of the Rangers, Joe from that
We
hashtag.
are here to review episodes of Power Rangers. This is our Power Ranger review show. I know we need a better name. Write in the comments below if you got one.
Please.
We'll take them.
But for right now, it's the official after show of the current season of Dino Charge.
Power Rangers after show. If you don't know about DJ, he's a big fan of the collectibles.
I love my Sentai. I love my
And this
BOJs, Bandai of Japan.
And this is the knowledge you're going to get from him, getting the Sentai and the Power Ranger stuff. This is a show by the fans, for the fans. So we hope you enjoy it. And let's get into this week's episode.
Absolutely. Besties 4eva, Dino Supercharge.
Boom.
You fought a monster. Wait, are you a ranger?
Me? Well, yeah.
Bam. So Besties 4eva, DJ.
Besties 4eva.
Let's just go over the synopsis of this episode.
Sure.
Well, we're not going to go over this actual synopsis, but this episode's pretty much about...
it's a Shelby episode.
It's a Shelby-centric episode, which I thought she did a great job. Or Camille Hyde did a great job in her acting.
I thought Camille was awesome. I mean, between taking her best friend, taking the conflict from her best friends, and everything going around, her emotions were very legit, but still very endearing and very caring. But you could tell she was conflicted with her allegiance to her friends and everything going on.
There was a lot of emoting from her, and you can see that struggle of like, man, she's my friend, but man,
Sure.
I'm really getting the shaft here. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? And this whole episode is based around the premise of like somebody taking credit for hard work that other people did. Essentially lying.
Yeah, like stop lying, essentially. Like, why you always lying? But, that's another thing.
We had a mini earthquake there. Rita was attacking our studio. But realistically, what did you think of the overall episode?
I enjoyed it as a fan of the series. I mean, ultimately, the plot device was cooking and getting a cookie with cinnamon for snide Heckyl, which, I mean, obviously not the best plot device, but...
Was this one of the best monster names ever, or...
Half-baked? It was pretty great. It was appropriate. It was pretty great.
It wasn't something I would have expected in a Power Ranger. You actually, off camera, you told me that one of your favorite lines in this episode was...
Oh, Ivan, when they go down to the sewers, and he says something along the lines of, this smells like the outhouse of the king after he uses the outhouse. Or it was something really, really...
But that's like not something, like I feel like for Chip or whoever was writing this at this point, it was
Sure.
kind of like, oh, well, we know we have older fans watching. Let's just make some fun jokes.
It was humor that I genuinely found funny. So I had to, like, when I brought it up to you, like, dude, did you catch that line?
I didn't actually,
Yeah.
But I think that it's brilliant you did bring it up because it's something that, I mean, the writing is getting so much better.
Absolutely, sure.
With every episode that we're getting, and I think that like the story arcs are getting more complex.
And not to mention, at this point, we're very invested in these characters. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we know who Kendall is at this point. We know who Riley is at this point. Like, Coda continues to kill. There was a moment in the episode
that was great.
where Tyler has the ice cream and then he just throws it back. Coda catches it and then starts eating it like Coda would. And this is consistent, but it's a charming type of humor, which I thought was hilarious.
And they do justice to the fact of like we're getting individual episodes for Ranger centrics,
Correct.
kind of like how we had Shelby. We also had Coda's episode with the baseball one.
Sure.
Chase had that one with his girlfriend.
We had the Riley episode where he had bullying, essentially, and that had a great resolution. That's the other thing, too. I feel like the season is good about bringing back the moral lessons without over-camping it. And you really feel good about it.
But also sticking to a storyline that's cohesive with the whole season.
Sure.
Which I think is brilliant. Like, they're playing it on both ends that... I mean, listen, I like the cast members of Samurai. I like Megaforce, Super Megaforce as people. But, like, the writing wasn't as strong. And I feel that, like...
Agreed.
It was one of those things where, oh, man, imagine... Samurai could have been... Imagine what it could have been compared to what it was.
You know what's interesting, man? I don't have a problem with Samurai as much as other people do.
I don't say I have a problem with it. I just don't feel like
It didn't live up to its potential, but essentially it was Shinkenger Power Ranger version. Like it was a carbon copy
right.
of Shinkenger, which I feel like if you like Shinkenger, you shouldn't really have a problem with Samurai, except for the fact that it's Power Ranger version of Shinkenger, which of course they're going to cut some stuff out and Americanize it.
Yeah, I think that, but even because as I was driving out here to the studio today, I was even trying to remember. I was like, man, like what was Mia known for? What was Emily known for? Like. Trying to get that in my head, like I knew that Kevin was like the individual. I knew that Mike was
the swimmer,
right? The swimmer. And I also knew that Mike was kind of like the loner, but the fun one, but like
the prankster,
right? So I understand the development, the character development from the guys, but like for example, Lauren. I know she was in 2 episodes, but like I didn't like what I love Kimberly Crossman as Kimberly Crossman. I love you.
Shout out to Kimberly Crossman. But I felt like it was very much Jaden and his Rangers, and essentially that's the one thing that's Sentai's really good about as far as establishing every individual character, because Sentai and Japanese shows in general thrive off of emotion-based concepts. You know what I mean?
And even with Megaforce, now I got to know those characters a little bit more. I felt like I knew who Noah was, I knew who Jake was. The only person I would say that I didn't know exactly who that character was, because I don't think it was fleshed out enough, was Andrew Gray's character, Troy.
Well, that was frustrating. I mean, Andrew Gray's Troy was frustrating because they alluded to the fact that there was something more to him, not just being the loner and the fighter, but having these dreams and being able to have these premonitions.
Right, that's what they started off.
And then later on, it was completely dropped, and it was just more like, it was referenced one time at the end, which was like, I had a dream about this, like, yeah, why?
Yeah.
Like, why are you special? Why did you know this mega war was going to happen? And it just didn't happen.
Whereas in Dino Charge, I feel like this is a throwback to like Mighty Morphin, where you're actually getting to know like...
And not just because of the dinosaurs. Because of the characters, right?
Right, because Coda, you know who Coda is.
Sure.
You know who Chase is. You know who Riley is. You know who Kendall is. Like, Tyler. Tyler's story arc is... At this point now, it's I don't want to say it's complete, but he got what he was looking for all along.
There was a little bit of resolution with that.
Which means maybe now we can focus in on, like, Kendall and all these other characters.
What's really interesting about it is in Kyoryuger, arguably in the Sentai counterpart Kyoryuger, it was very much a Daigo show. So it was very much a Red Ranger show, and it was.
King, yeah, because King was like the guy.
He was the thriving plot device. You know what I mean? It was about his father, finding out where his father is, and essentially it just became Daigo and his Rangers. You know what I mean? But you still got to know the characters. You still got to know the team.
Yeah. Like Ian's my favorite on
Ian's
that.
your team.
He's great.
I'm a No-san fan. Shout out to No-san.
I love it. He's great.
Old man jokes. Old man jokes.
It's so good. Like that. Honestly, like I'm only on episode 21 at FQ.
You gotta finish it. It's so good.
I can't find it anywhere.
It's so good. I'm gonna hook you up. Afterwards, we're gonna get it.
I think, but you know what? Like I know that like the Sentai counterpart, it's night and day from what Dino Charge is.
Sure.
Like you can watch both of those and get two completely different stories and completely different things.
But they're both good.
Exactly.
They're both good. They stand on their own.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
How many Ranger seasons and Sentai seasons can you say were both good?
Oh, that's a tough one. Very few.
Because we did talk about Overdrive and Bokyu.
Well, Power Rangers and Sentai is so different. Just talk about what you were talking about. Like Bokenger and Overdrive is like night and day. Because Bokenger is like a lot of fans consider Bokenger the MMPR of Sentai because
I've heard that
because of the characters. Like the Red Ranger was very much like Jason, and everyone had such distinguishing, strong personalities, you know what I mean? But Overdrive for us, for a lot of American fans, you go to message boards, you go to fan surveys. Yeah. Overdrive is considered one of the worst Ranger series of all time, outside of Once a Ranger, and that's because Adam came back, Tori came back, and they had the whole team.
I hate to put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot, man.
What's your least favorite Power Ranger season?
Overdrive.
Is it?
It is actually Overdrive.
Wow.
It's not great. It was a season that had so much potential.
Yeah.
Because I love those suits. I mean, it was the first season that actually had like a black Ranger because of BPC.
I loved Will though. I liked Will. I just didn't like. I'm not a big Mac fan.
I didn't like the Pinocchio.
And I
didn't like the Pinocchio thing with the Andrew.
One of my favorite girls of all time was on that show, Caitlin Murphy, Ronnie.
Sure.
She was beautiful.
Well, that. She wasn't enough to save the season. I will say that she wasn't enough to save the season. I don't. Man, I couldn't. I don't know what my least favorite season is. Honestly, I hate to say it. It's probably Samurai. Really? Why?
Yeah. Listen, I love the cast. I think they're great as people, but like. I don't think they were given. I think that what Saban was trying to do during the Neo Saban era when it started back was like you can tell that obviously it was a Samurai season that used those tropes and those themes.
Sure. They got to stick to the
You can absolutely tell that they were trying to rely so much on the original Power Rangers series by bringing in Spike and by like
Sure. And Bulk.
Yeah.
And Bulk.
Like we had these characters that were so reminiscent of the original series, and even the tropes like stayed true to that. I don't feel like had they let the reins off, be like, okay, we're gonna do a straight up samurai season, it would have been so much better.
Well, to be fair, I feel like the reins will always be there because I feel like at this point they found a formula with Neo Saban. I mean, arguably even with Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge.
I don't know. I think when Chiplin took over, he was given a little bit more creative control.
Exponentially better, and without question, exponentially better. But the thing is, like, even like, you know, the return of the theme song, Go Go Power Rangers.
Right.
You know
Well, that was the biggest tell to me is that once they went back to that original, and listen, let's be honest.
What's up?
Those people out there know. When we got Samurai's theme song and Megaforce's theme song, it was kind of like, really? And I even remember Yoshi telling a story.
You weren't a fan of like the call out in the beginning, like Jaden,
No.
Mia, Emily,
Nope.
Jake.
Nope. I do like though that Power Rangers Megaforce. That's like the only thing I remember. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Who's your favorite Ranger this season?
Man, I'm not just saying this just because I'm favoring like Dino Charge, but that's a really hard question to answer because they're
It's
really.
like, who's your favorite kid, right?
No, but well, obviously my firstborn. But no, they're all very likable in their own different ways.
They're all very charming.
I mean, you want to be Chase because he's the guy that gets the girls. You want to be like Riley because he's so composed. But you also want to be free spirited because, like, you know, Tyler's very free spirited, and you know it's about to get wild and all that good stuff. Miss Morgan, obviously a young but very much together.
Billy.
Yeah, very, very much the Billy of the team, you know.
Would you go as far to say that she's the leader of the team?
I would not say she's the leader of the team.
Really?
I would not say she's the leader of the team. To me, that's still Tyler. I mean, he is still the commander of the team. You know what I'm saying?
Calling the shots
at the end of the day.
Spit on you there.
Oh, you're good. I didn't even know you said something. But no, I mean, she's definitely the brains and the heads of the operation. I would say she's the heads of the operation, but Tyler is definitely the leader of the team. So
she's the coach, but he's the quarterback.
Exactly, essentially, and they're both very important. I mean, you need both to have a very strong team. I would say Ivan, man.
He's your favorite.
I would say Ivan, and the thing is, even like Prince is really good, you know, as Graphite. You
know what?
He's all right.
Yeah, I love him as Graphite.
He's good,
right? But he comes in with that swagger of
yes,
the good-looking dude that's you know, he comes in, but I don't feel like he's utilized enough on this season. Well, he's here and there.
Well, he's very restricted. I mean, there's only so much. I mean, to the Dino Charge's credit, they do a lot of original footage.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of original
which
content.
I can appreciate as a fan though. They're not trying to do the copy and paste.
As a viewer, period, because it's so much easier. And I'm sure that's something that you probably didn't like about Samurai. That Samurai did.
Well, you had mentioned it too, and I guess it is a copy and paste of the Sentai.
As far as Samurai?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's almost verbatim, except they watered it. They Power Rangered it up. Whatever that means to you, they made it very Power Ranger for kids as much as, you know, with Samurai, the concept of death is always real in Sentai anyways, you know what I'm saying? But even like respect to the traditional samurai and having the dojo and having the elements and the Japanese elements incorporated, even with the kanjis and the symbols.
And mind you, we're not throwing shit on any season.
Not at all.
We love Power Rangers.
Anything Ranger, we love it.
I'll tell you the truth. Is people want to throw hate on some of these seasons? Like, dude, I've watched every single episode at this point.
Sure.
And like, there's redeeming qualities about every single season. 100%.
100% agreed. 100%
agreed. We love it because the characters. We love it because like it is what it is. Like, it's Power Rangers. Like, if you don't think it's supposed to be these like sometimes cheesy monster fights, you're crazy. Like, this is what I love it for.
I mean, I love our fans. I mean, I feel like, and it's a great time to be a fan too.
Oh yeah,
it's a great time to be a fan. I mean, we have the upcoming Lionsgate movie. Power Morphicon 5 just passed, and it was such a good time. And at this point, the community is so tight. Now, I mean, people I talked to online, I was able to meet in person, and you know, people who talk to you online, able to meet you in person. Yeah. We were taking pictures left and right, and it's such a good, just camaraderie. You know what I'm saying?
I love the fan base. I love the Power Ranger fans because. You know what? It's so funny because I can walk in. I'm not gonna lie. Be completely candid with you.
Do it.
Is that walking into Morphicon, I was less excited because we do this show and
well, especially you.
Yeah, we get really busy with a lot of things and there was a lot of things going on and for me it was kind of like I had to concentrate on so many other things.
Sure.
But then walking out of that show,
dude,
I literally bought every single Power Ranger comic book.
Yes.
I mean, I already had 0 and 1. But I bought issues, I think it's 2 through 5 or 2 through 6, and then all the Pink Ranger books. And then I've read them all in a day, and I'm like, dude, you just feed me more Power Ranger stuff. Like I remember when we were at Morphicon, we were checking out some of the figures.
Yes.
And like I saw those legacy figures.
Oh man, they're beautiful.
They're beautiful. So now I just bought the whole set.
I think I'm a bigger fan now than I was then. I didn't think that was possible, dude.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
No, it
because
makes sense.
you have to understand, like, Joe and I nerd out on Rangers.
Yeah,
like,
there was points where we talked like hours on the phone about
it'd be like
things.
3 o'clock in the morning, like, dude, you have work in the morning? Like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get fired. Okay, cool. So anyways, back to our...
Yeah. No, it's true.
No,
like,
we're big Ranger fans. We really are.
We've talked to some of our other cast members on the show that were at MorphCon with us, like Brian and Jasmine, who aren't huge Ranger fans.
And Kelly.
And they walked out. And Dave. Well, Dave's a huge Ranger fan.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah. He's a huge Sentai fan.
Oh.
Funny enough, fun fact about Dave Baker, he likes the most obscure things that you would never expect. His favorite Kamen Rider season, Amazon.
Oh, Amazon's so good.
Nobody's favorite season besides Dave's.
Okay, I just thought it was so good.
Is it your favorite though? Because Gaim is amazing.
Well, Gaim's good. I mean, I'm a W and O's fan. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what that is.
I love W and I love O's but then again, I mean, that was that transitional period because now everything's so gimmicky. Because as far as like.
Well, Gaim also. I mean, not Gaim. Amazon gets a lot of hate for the costume too.
Yeah, well, it's a different concept. It's a very acquired taste.
It's the Dave Baker taste.
It's the Dave Baker.
I'm a huge fan of Gaim. Like he got me into Gaim, and I watched it. and I was like, dude,
Gaim's awesome.
Dance. It was like Pokemon with dance battling, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But
even like Den-O, like Kamen Rider Den-O is a good season too. That's the one with the trains. The current the actor from Den-O actually played Kenshin Himura in the.
Would you say Tokyuger with trains is a good Sentai?
See, I feel like, and don't get me wrong, I don't think this was Chip's control, right? As far as that wasn't up to him. But I felt like they could have done a lot with Tokyuger because they did amazing. I mean, obviously this isn't Chip's baby, but for instance, RPM was the most childish Ranger. Like it was very childlike in Japan.
In Japan. You mean the counterpart?
Yes, correct.
Gotcha.
So,
because I was like, wait, RPM childish?
No, not at all. But like the counterpart in Japan was very young, very childish, and but RPM was the most adult season of Power Rangers, and my favorite season. I think that's your favorite season.
That's my favorite season.
Matter of fact, you got to interview Ika recently, and it had one of the best casts, the best acting, and just one of the best driving plot devices.
Oh, so good. You know what?
It was like Mad Max met Power Rangers with Terminator. It was so
There's
good.
only 2 interviews in Power Ranger interviews where I've ever been like nervous. One was Austin St. John because he was the original Red Ranger and somebody I looked up to.
Shout out to Austin.
Shout out to you, Austin. The other one was, believe it or not, Dan Ewing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
When I interviewed him, I was a little nervous because I just think of Dylan.
Sure.
And he's like the
Dylan
standoffish
was so
guy.
badass.
You'd be Dylan. If anybody watching at home, if you ever get to know DJ on a personal level, he would be Dylan.
Well, this is my man Tommy right here, so I'll take.
Not Jason David Frank.
No, the actual character Tommy. You have to understand, like this dude.
Oh, thank you.
This dude wears so many Ranger suits and so many hats, and there's legit like that white light coming from the command center heaven, like. Are you happy with the new leader of the power team? Yeah, that's Joe.
Well, this guy would totally be Dylan. Like, you got to get to know him, but he's the loner dude. But he confines well in a team. Once the team's there, you're totally Dylan. However, with that being said, Dan Ewing intimidated me a little bit, mainly because I just knew Dylan.
Sure.
And I got that aspect of like...
He did such a great job with
Yeah, because he was so convincing.
He was badass,
as that character that was standoffish. But when you get to talk to him, he's like, dude... This guy's dope.
He was that powerhouse too. Like in Rangers, he was legit, and arguably he was basically the biggest focus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially with his sister. And
Which is weird though, because I feel like towards the end of obviously because we had a new executive producer, when Chip actually came in.
Sure.
That was a little that focus was a little taken off towards the end.
Yeah, but I thought they
we'll do a whole RPM season.
We'll do a few RPM.
Matter of fact, if we do RPM, let's make it a goal. Let's try to get Ari, because Ari wants to come back and do a thing with us.
Oh, nice.
And we'll try to get Ika back.
We will try
to do a thing, and we'll try to get Eddie Gazillion on, and maybe he can tell us. Well, his Eddie. All right, so Eddie's whole thing is that we have to provide him with either scotch or whiskey, but he'll tell us how he was going to end it. We'll do it. We'll make it happen for you guys.
I think we can make that work. So back to the episode. Okay, so essentially, Besties 4eva. I mean, they established the fact that Shelby's best friend, Erin, they've been friends since kindergarten. takes credit for everything. Wow, we really got back to this episode.
Yeah, so we're going to the beginning of the episode.
We're going back to the beginning of the episode. So she takes credit for everything. So her best friend is Erin. She takes credit for this talent show, winning song that they came up for the talent show that they won from. And we find out that she's pretty relentless with the lines. She's almost pathological because in the very next scene, with Chase, they bought ice cream for everyone.
Yeah.
And in front of Chase, she was like, it was on me in front of the guy.
It's my treat.
It's my treat.
Yeah.
In front of the guy that paid for it. And Chase is kind of like, I paid for it. I didn't I? I mean, it's kind of like you. You convinced me that I steal my own car half the time. It's just like, did I? Is that my car? Maybe not. Here's my keys. But no, but she really, and you know, the conflict is established right away as far as she lies, but Shelby is very faithful to her friend. She's very committed to her friend, and she's just like, well, she's my bestie. Hence, besties forever. Aha. So what'd you think about Erin?
You know what? Here's the thing. Right, just talking on an acting level, you can tell she was from New Zealand.
Sure.
But I think she played the role of Erin well because it's supposed to
I
be...
didn't hate her.
Yeah, I didn't hate her.
I didn't hate her.
It's supposed to be a character that you're supposed to not like.
Sure.
That has a redeeming quality about them in the end.
Sure, and that did happen.
And I think that happened, and I think that worked for me. I think and I love the fact that with what Camille did in the episode in terms of acting.
Sure.
She like you said, she played this role very well of like, oh, like I don't like what you're doing, but at the same time, you're my friend.
She never went beyond.
It was never hatred.
Exactly. It was very subtle. She was very expressive with her face. Definitely
Annoyed.
expressive with her face. So shout out to Camille as far as like just exuding and just portraying the dislike for what her bestie's doing, but at the same time the conflict within herself, which ultimately does get resolved with 2 cents from Keeper.
Well, I think that what Power Rangers Dino Charge has done a really good job at is casting people that really fit those characters. But not only that,
Absolutely.
but writing for those characters.
Absolutely.
Writing around the actors to fit their needs. Like you were saying off screen, was that Davi Santos, who plays Ivan,
So good.
He's
so good.
His delivery of lines, he is a caricature, but his delivery of lines is brilliant.
It is. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it takes a lot to take an exaggerated character like Sir Ivan, but still make him relatable.
Right.
And still make him likable. And I mean, the fact is, he does have this nobility about him, and he does it in such a way that you might want to be a knight, and just his posture, and some of the best humor comes from him being such a knight. Like I love the nod from Kyoryuger when they were coming up with the Dino X Charger,
right?
And
you were talking about
he quickly said like, we shall call it Victory Maximum, which was actually the Kyoryuger name, and the girls Shelby and Kendall were like, well, how about we just call it Dino X? Brilliant. He was all about it. You know what I mean? Just so gung-ho for the team. I think he does a great job. So shout out to Davi.
So Davi, the writers this season have done such a great job of establishing these characters.
Absolutely.
And writing almost for them, I want to say.
Yeah.
But Davi does such a great job of portraying that.
I mean, they really all do. I mean, they all stand.
Oh, yeah.
They all stand on their own 2 feet and their own merits. At this point, we really are invested. I mean, I'm going to beat a dead horse by saying that, but we really are invested with their individual characteristics, and we know which each one of them are about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, on paper, what I was going to say on paper, I didn't think I was going to like Sir Ivan.
Sure.
Because we already have a man at a time, which is Coda.
Yeah.
And I think that with Sir Ivan, it gives you, for me on paper, it was kind of like, oh, I'm getting another guy that's at a time, blah, blah, blah. But it works.
And I would actually argue that this season, this casting, and even just the character types is probably one of the most diverse seasons.
Oh, I have a question
of all
for
of
you.
Ranger.
So, how many more? Have you been at every Morphicon?
No, actually, 3 was my first, and then this last one was my second.
Okay.
That's where we met, the first one. Power Morphicon 3.
That was 4, no?
This one was this one 5?
I think this one was 5.
Oh, we met at 4 then. Okay.
So we have the same amount of
we've attended the same amount of cons, yes.
Question. So when you saw the first reveal, because I'm sure on the internet we all saw it at the same time.
Sure.
The first reveal of Megaforce, when you looked, or even Samurai, when you looked at them, did you see a Power Ranger team? Was that like, oh yeah, I can see them as Rangers?
I accepted it.
Okay, you accepted it?
I accepted it.
Megaforce as well?
We're talking about Samurai?
Well, yeah, Samurai first.
Same thing.
Okay.
I don't think I got excited about a team until, and again, it's not just because it's the current season. I remember being at Morphicon where they revealed the cast of Dino Charge, and I mean, I may be just being dumb, but when I saw the diversity and just saw them in the suits, and even like especially with Camille as Shelby in the Pink Rangers, because I knew whoever they casted as the Pink Ranger had a huge responsibility as being the only girl, to be the tough girl, but also, kind of still maintain the femininity. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't know how they were going to treat the Violet Ranger, and come to find out, they really incorporated the Purple Ranger in a huge way by making her Kendall.
Right.
So before all that, Shelby had a huge responsibility as the only girl on the core team, and I couldn't be any happier, man.
I agree. When Dino Charge was the first cast that I've seen from the Morphicon era, where I looked at them and I was like, oh, well, those all look like that. Yep, that's a good cast.
Oh, you know what? Actually, speaking of which, to me, this is the first season in a very long time that during the morph fights, I feel like they're in the suits.
Oh yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. No disrespect to Megaforce or Samurai, but when Dino Charge morphs and whenever they do the little quips and when they're fighting the monster, I'm seeing Coda as blue. I'm seeing Tyler as red. I'm seeing Sir Ivan with the long sword.
They're doing a really good job with the transitions.
Absolutely,
it's seamless almost.
But that's because you care about these characters.
Sure.
So Dino Charge, thumbs up across the board in terms of giving us characters not only that we care about, but that we like.
So
even the Prince, as pompous as he was at first.
Oh, I love the Prince.
Oh, the Prince is great. So good.
So good.
Yeah.
What do you want to see going forward? Not just in this season, but just in general.
In Power Rangers?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard one because I get why the kiddie element's there. I mean, essentially, we're a grown man talking about a kid show. I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
Right.
But I'd love to see him push the envelope even further as far as just emotions.
But it's not like we haven't gotten that before, because we had SPD, we have had RPM.
True, but with Neo Saban, it's definitely formulaic in terms of, for instance, I don't pay attention as much just because I like the season as much, but for instance, we get a lot of the stock music. You know what I mean? There's a certain type of jingle in the background music as far as all the episodes, and it varies a little bit, but then again, I'm biased because I grew up in the Ron Weiserman. Exactly, yeah. Where we got full ballads in the background and rocking out, and we got the Go Green Ranger theme song, and those were man, that got me off my chair.
Our era Power Rangers, we're the golden age.
Sure, but that was one of the best aspects, because if you go back, I mean, it's not like it was the best acted season, but that was our nostalgia. Yeah. Those characters were very good, you know what I mean? But everything about it, the combination of, that got me into rock and metal, you know what I'm saying? The theme song along, I need a hero, 541, all the Ron songs. Man.
I think that with Ninja Steel coming up,
sure,
I think, man, it's going to be a completely different vibe, obviously. But I personally think that we can really capture, or they can really capture, the essence of some of these older seasons that just excelled.
In what way, man?
Like we had SPD, we've had RPM.
SPD is a great season.
I think you know what I loved? Ninja Storm.
Ninja Storm, honestly, it had the biggest weight of being the first Disney season, man. Yeah. You know what's interesting, dude? I became an after the fact Ninja Storm.
Me too.
Fan.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if that's actually 100% true. I saw Ninja Storm randomly, and I was like, oh shit, Power Rangers still on.
Yeah.
And then I watched this. I was like, oh, this is witty. It's fun. And I dug it, and then
the actors can act. They were actually good actors.
Yeah,
they still work today from Ninja Storms. Ninja Storm probably had the best cast, one of the best casts, I should say.
And then the next season we got Dino Thunder, which was the return of Tommy, which was wait, what?
Hey, Power Rangers is kind of dope.
Yeah, and then I got SPD, which is literally one of my favorite
one
seasons.
Of the best Power Ranger seasons ever, which I can't stand it whenever fans bring up the whole no, Saban was better, Disney was better. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of things that Disney did right.
Oh, I completely agree with you.
Did right.
I completely agree with you there. I think that with I don't understand that, because they're both great in their own respective rights.
Absolutely.
Truthfully, I love the people that worked on Wild Force, but it's not one of my favorite seasons. The Zanaku thing is great. Zanaku.
I always go back to the whole Forever Red thing. I mean, I feel like Forever Red always takes the thunder away from, because by no means is Wild Force a bad season. It's not, because it's very similar to be honest with you, from Gal Ranger. You know what I mean? It is. It actually takes a lot of elements from its Sentai counterpart, but Forever Red is always going to come up with Wild Force, just because it was. That's a big task, man. Bringing all those actors back and all the veterans back for one reunion. Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
I also think that when we got to the Disney era, a lot of shade gets thrown on it.
You know what it is, though? I think that was before we really understood.
You think it's because of Mystic Force and Overdrive?
I think it has a lot to do with it, but I would. But no, you know what it is? I feel like that was before, because a lot of the consensus has to do with like, oh, why do they keep changing the seasons, or why do they keep changing the themes? And I didn't think people understood as much now, because now we're Sentai and Rangers and Power Rangers PR is more unified than it has been before. Matter of fact, even in Power Morphicon, there's Sentai actors coming to our Morphicon,
which is awesome.
Which is huge.
I wish they would have got Kyuuser to come out here. That'd be sick.
Oh, dude, it would have been done.
All right, so let's do a fun game real quick, and we're gonna close off after this. But real quick, we have 13 cast members on hashtag.
13.
Which characters in the Power Ranger universe would they be? And I'm gonna throw one out, and we'll see if we agree. All right, we're gonna go with Myra first. Myra does our Disney stuff. Myra, who would she be?
She's a tough girl. You know what's interesting is Gray in Kyoryuger was very hard-headed because.
Well, I would. All right, so we have to stick to Rangers.
Yeah.
All right.
Not PR.
Not Sentai.
I mean, not Sentai.
Yeah. Because I have one in my head. I want to see if you would agree.
Put it out there.
Vita.
Oh, from any season? Oh, from any season. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you meant from Dino Charge.
Any season.
Vita?
Vita.
I can say that. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Yeah, I'd co-sign Vita. I would co-sign Vita.
Okay.
Sure.
One down. Kelly.
Kelly is Madison.
Kelly is Madison.
She is
another Mystic Force Ranger.
She really is Mystic Force. That was a coincidence, but for real, she is definitely Madison.
Ernie.
Ziggy.
Ernie is totally Ziggy. RPM.
From
Ziggy.
RPM.
Totally
He's
Ziggy.
That's bothers to it.
Daniel.
Huh.
That's a tough one.
Lightspeed Green.
Joel, yes, 100%. Daniel's Joel.
He is the air cowboy.
He is the air cowboy. The air cowboy.
Yes.
Brian.
I'm gonna need help with that one. I think I'm gonna need a little help with that one.
Oh man.
Huh.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
A little bit. Oh wait, Bridge. It's Buttery.
Yeah, he's Bridge.
It's Buttery.
He's totally Bridge.
It's Buttery. Come on.
He's Bridge. Jessica.
Jess. Huh.
I would say Shelby.
I would say Kat.
I don't know if Jessica's that motherly.
Really? I guess you would not.
I would say Shelby. Jessica definitely has a sense of adventure.
Cassie.
Oh yeah, Cassie. Good call, Cassie. I would say Cassie.
Yeah, she's kind of feisty, but she holds her own. Yeah.
Yep. Dave. Easy.
Oh shoot, who's easy?
Riley. Dino Charge, 100%.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Dave's totally right.
Shout out to Dave.
Ro. Oh, I got one.
Please, because I was gonna think for a second.
Quantum.
I could dig Quantum.
Totally
yeah,
Eric.
I could totally dig Quantum. Why not? Yeah.
Totally Eric.
Let's go with it.
Sarah. You know what? I got one in my head. I think she's the White Ranger from Mystic Force.
That's a good call. Yeah. She was definitely one of the strongest female Rangers.
And motherly.
But not just motherly, but just
very, badass,
very,
too.
just very established, you know what I'm saying? So very strong Ranger.
We already got, Jasmine.
Tori.
She's
Tori.
Ninja Storm. Or Ninja Storm.
Ninja Storm Blue.
Ninja Storm Blue.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we missing anybody?
Because Tori had to wrangle all the guys, and that's what Jasmine does.
Maverick.
All the time. See, she's like that. She's beautiful, but she gets down. But she's not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Yeah.
You know?
Who you gonna say? Or would you think Emma?
I was gonna say Emma. I was gonna say Emma, actually. Yeah, she's.
And then we already got Dylan and Tommy.
Oh, that's my dog.
But no, I think that's how. If you ever wanted to figure out who would be like our personalities on hashtag, that's pretty much it.
I think we got it. I think we got it.
But next week we're gonna be back with a new episode.
Yep.
We might have a special guest. We might not. We might just be doing this whole thing.
Playing with our, our props and stuff. This is what we do.
Yours is bigger than mine.
Yeah, right.
But this is Joe with that hashtag show.
DJ.
And we're going to be here next week. And hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.